So that they started getting closer and closer together, and then I hit day 5, and I was like, "This is stupid. Like, I need a C-section." Like a C-section sounded fabulous at this point. And I was just like doubting myself of like, no, oh, I can't do this. And everything was just coming up. Everything was just like hitting me in that moment. My husband was falling asleep and I'm like, oh yeah, he still sucks. Like he's the burger, like freaking stupid Carl's Jr. burger. And so then it was so weird that it was like 3:30 in the morning. My sister texted me and she was like, "How are you doing?" And I'm like, "I'm done. I'm having a C-section. I'm literally gonna wake up mom. She's gonna take care of the kids. I'm gonna go get a C-section." She was like, "Don't be dumb. Like, just call your midwife, have her come check you." So I did, and she gets there, and I'm 8 centimeters, and I'm like, "All right, I'm just gonna do this."
This is the Earthbound Parenting Podcast, where we discuss all things pregnancy, birth, postpartum, partnership, parenting, and how to take radical responsibility in each one. Being earthbound is a wild adventure, so allow me to be your guide. I'm your hostess, Chaya Shawal, traditionally trained birth guardian, birth educator, and mother of 4 unassisted home-birthed boys. In today's episode, I get to listen to Monica's birth story, but not just any birth story. This is a VBAC after 3 cesareans. That's vaginal birth after cesarean. It's a home birth story. And again, the kicker here is this isn't just your run-of-the-mill amazing VBAC story. It's amazing because this is a VBAC story after she had 3 cesareans. This is something that people say is completely impossible or radically dangerous and that sort of thing. Not so. And we're going to hear it straight from the mother's mouth. So here we go. Today, I'm joined by Monica Martinez, a holistic birth worker, childbirth educator, and placenta specialist serving families in Southern California. After 3 cesareans, Monica began a powerful healing journey that led her back to birth work and midwifery. She went on to have a redemptive vaginal home birth, followed by another intimate home birth with her family. And in this episode, we're going to explore healing from birth trauma, reclaiming autonomy, and the spiritual and ancestral threads that guided her journey. Welcome, Monica. Thanks for coming on. I know you've been on the podcast before sharing your story, but this felt like a nice way to sort of freshen the story so I could actually we could talk to each other, because that former episode is really you recording your thoughts and things like that, which was really helpful. I mean, it's one of my most listened to episodes,
Oh,
of
wow.
all of them. So it's obviously resonating with a lot of people. And I just thought that this would be a nice way to bring it back.
Thank you. And thank you for that intro.
You're,
It was
you're welcome.
beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah. And again, highlighting that Monica's in Southern California, people. So I know it's rough over there in California. So
It is,
definitely
yes.
reach out to her. So yeah. So where would you like to begin? What's a good, I know so much of your births prior to your actual VBAC kind of guide you along this path. So kick it off wherever feels like a good starting point, and share your story with us.
Yeah, I mean, I would just go to the beginning of how I really was just like, wow, I am gonna get pregnant and have a baby. Like I was made for this. I don't need to do any work. And like my mother had us, she said that she would go to the hospital and wait as long as possible, get to the hospital and have her baby within minutes.
Oh,
And
wow.
so yeah, and so then that's kind of just like where it was of like, okay, to ignore labor as much as possible, and then you go and you do your thing, and then come home as soon as possible because like you need to take care of your stuff at home. So it was kind of weird how like that I got that from her, and her mom had 16 children. And so
Wow.
yeah, and
That's
so when
awesome.
my mom like had me, my grandma was like, come stay with me. Let me take care of you. And so my grandma had, all of this like wisdom and knowledge around birth, but my grandma would do the same thing. She would go to the hospital and treat it as like a little vacation and have her babies like no problem, and there was no epidural, no medications, no nothing. But that's my mom's side of the family. On my dad's side of the family, like my dad was born at home. All of his brothers and sisters were born at home in Mexico. My grandmother was born at home. All of her brothers and sisters were born at home. Her mom was a partera in Mexico, a midwife, and her mom's mom and her mom's mom. So many, many
Wow.
yeah, generations of midwives, and they like birthed all of the babies in the town. And so it was very different, like for my mom and dad. And I was the second person ever to be born in a hospital in my dad's whole family. So my cousin
Wow.
before, yeah, my cousin before me was the first one. And so my grandma was very much like, well, it's because we were poor, and that's how we had to do things. But we're in America now, and we don't have to do it that way.
Hmm.
So it's kind of wild because my grandma was literally like the only one of the daughters that wasn't like, oh, I love childbirth. And that was like so sacred and amazing. She had a really rough pregnancy with my dad and a rough labor. So, anyways, all of that to say that like nobody really talked about birth except like you just do it in our family, in my family. And so, anyways, I just like thought I would just go do it, like how it was always told to me. And I didn't do any work. And so then I was coming up on 42 weeks with my daughter. And they were like, we have to induce you. Like, you're in a danger zone. Your baby could die. And I was like, oh, of course. Let's like do what we need to do. Plus, let's get this baby out.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, not thinking anything. And we go to the hospital, start the induction, and then on day 4, they had checked me for dilate. It's day 4, no like food, no water. I mean, I am just like, oh my gosh, this is horrible. And
Wow.
um and then the midwife, it was a black woman midwife or CNM or yeah, and she um checked me and she was like, "Oh, you're a 5." And then she checked me a few hours later and said, "Oh, you're a 4." And I was like, "Wait, what happened?" I went backwards and she was like, "No, I never said you were a 5." And I was like, "No, I'm pretty sure you did." And then she was like, "No, I didn't." And then I just kind of like looked at my husband like, "Am I tripping?" Because now I'm on drugs. I don't know if I'm tripping really.
Yeah.
He was like, "No, yeah, you did. You said she was a 5." And she just went off. And she was like, "No, I fucking didn't. No, you're gonna have to bleep that, huh?" And she was like, um, yeah, you don't know fucking shit. Like, I don't know where this was coming from. And
Wow.
I was just sitting there like, oh my gosh, like, is this really happening? Or am I like really tripping out on drugs right now?
Yeah.
Literally, like, thought I was tripping out on drugs. And then I just start crying, like, oh, this is crazy. And security came in and they were like pushing her out. And my husband's just like holding my hand and he's not even saying anything. I'm not saying anything. We're just like shocked that this is
Yeah.
happening. And a nurse comes in. Well, a lot of people come in at that point. And one of the nurses that came in, like, she's the only one that actually like came to me. And I call her like my little angel nurse because that's how I felt in the moment about her. And she was like, "Oh my gosh, you're still here." Because she was there on one of the days. I'm assuming it was day 1. I'm not sure. And she was like, this has been too long and I think it's time for a C-section. Would you like a C-section? And I just felt like, yes, absolutely get me out of this hospital and give me my baby and let me go home. Please, let's do this. And so
Yeah.
she called the doctor in and the doctor came in and was like, "You're progressing nicely. You don't need a C-section." And I'm like, I don't know. She just told me I'm on like day 4, and then this lady's telling me I'm going backwards. I don't really know what I need or not need, but like I am ready to meet my baby now. And we went back for a C-section, and um this is like the hard part for me, but she pulled my daughter out, and she said, "There's your mom. You get to see her early because she gave up." And I felt like she like transmuted this negative energy on my baby, and I felt strongly of, oh my gosh, I let that happen. Like I let this lady imprint this negative energy on this pure innocent baby of mine, and I didn't protect my baby from that. And so that like startled me as a mother, and that's how I was starting motherhood. And yeah, so my
I know
gosh.
that's making me, yeah, like giving me
Yeah.
like goosebumps in the worst way. Like it's upsetting. Yeah. I,
Yeah, it was upsetting, that ghetto doctor, right? And then, or
yeah.
ghetto midwife. And
Yeah.
then this doctor clearly, like, I think she thought that like I caused something with this midwife, and she was like kind of defending her. I don't know. I didn't do anything, and so I can't really speak to that, but it was just disgusting. And
No.
yeah, and so yeah, I got my baby, and I like got out of there as soon as possible and came home and literally locked myself in the room with her for 2 weeks. And I didn't really like, I didn't leave the house, and I didn't visit, and I didn't, it wasn't like postpartum depression. It wasn't darkness. It was something that I felt like I needed to do deeply, like inside with my baby, to make sure that we were okay, and
Yeah.
um that I could really take care of her, and that I wouldn't let like anything hurt her the way that I let it, I guess, hurt her before. And I did. I got the download from her of like, we're okay. Her beautiful
Mm,
smile, the way she was nursing so great. Like we were just in a beautiful flow together.
wow.
And when we emerged from there, we emerged so strongly. And
Mm,
I knew that whatever happened in her birth wasn't going to affect her. Like I knew it in that
wow.
moment. May It definitely affected me, and I wasn't thinking of me when I did that work. I still was making things up on the fly. And back then there wasn't really social media and podcasts and
Yeah.
things to hear. She's 15 and a half, and so back then, like I all I knew is that like I don't want to have another C-section, and I'm not going to let them induce me, like. And that's what I took away from it. And that's what I did for my next one. So then when I got pregnant with my son, I was like, oh, I am so smart. Like I'm gonna lie about my last menstrual period by a whole week so they cannot induce me. Instead of thinking like, oh, how about you just say no, or how about you just like advocate for yourself, like, no, I didn't think of those things at all. I was just like, oh, I'm gonna lie about my period. And sure enough, here we go into week 41. And so it was really pushing week 42,
Yeah.
and so, but I got them because I went into labor. I went into labor with him. I started losing my mucus plug, and I started having crampiness. And I was home alone with my daughter because my husband had a baseball game, and it was about like an hour and a half away. And so I had called him, and I'm like, hey, maybe you should head back, in case you get traffic, because I am like starting labor. So I had told him, like, come home, I'm starting labor. And my sisters were like, "Oh my gosh, you're starting labor. You are not going to have a C-section. Like, we are going to do this." And they came over and curled my hair and helped me like
Aw.
clean my house. And then my mom took my daughter for me. And I'm like, yeah, this is like so going to be so different, you know? And my husband's taking forever, like hours pass by, and they are getting closer together, but I wasn't timing them because I didn't even know to do that. Um, and finally he gets home and I'm like, can you shave my vagina for me? So he does that, and like I'm just like leaking fluids, and he's just like, "Bleh."
It's just like the priorities of
I
like
know.
what we think of sometimes.
I know. I'm like, yeah, we have to look great. We need to look great, right? Got my hair curled and my vagina is smooth.
That's,
This is gonna
that's
be great.
that's hilarious.
So we get to the hospital and they're a lot more intense. I still don't know like how far apart they are. And then they check me and they're like, oh, yeah, honey, like you're barely 3 centimeters, so you need to go home. Well, they like let me wait an hour. And so they send me home and my husband's like, I'm hungry. And we go to IHOP. And see, we both order, but I cannot eat. Like, I'm absolutely like, now I'm really, I think like things are picking up and I did make progress. And I'm like sitting hunched over in the booth and I can't eat. And he's like, I'll eat that for you, no problem. And so he eats everything. And the waiter's just looking at him like, oh my gosh, you are just like such a jerk, you
Oh
know?
yeah, they're thinking, yeah, they're
Yeah.
thinking he doesn't care at all.
Yeah, and so then anyways, we get back home and they are really starting to pick up and they're super intense, but I'm starting to pass out in between them. And and now I'm like, I'm gonna time them. And so I start timing them and they're like 6 minutes apart. And I call labor and delivery and I'm like, hey, like I know you guys told me to go home, but like, I don't know how much more I could do at home. Like, when is it okay to come in? And they like hear me and they're like, oh no, it sounds like you're ready to come in, come back. So we go back and they are definitely like super intense on the way. And when I get there, they check me and I'm 8 centimeters. And immediately I just let out this like cry of release. And so did my husband. Like he got teary eyed and
Mm.
we did it. Like as if, you know, like this was it. And like I'm going to have my baby vaginally. I'm not having another C-section. I am really 42 weeks and a day and nobody knows. Like everything is just going to happen the way I planned it. Now I'm going to have a baby out of my vagina. And so they're like, "Oh, are you ready for like your epidural?" I'm like, "Sure." Like what could go wrong with that? You know? And I get my epidural, I totally fall asleep. And then I wake up to nurses checking me and or checking on me and checking me. And they're like, okay, it's time to start pushing. And I'm like, really? Because I mean, I could keep napping right now. Like I feel nothing. I feel fabulous. I feel great. They're like, yeah, no, it's time to start pushing. So we start pushing and my sister's there and she can see like his hair. And so I like clearly like this is very far and like he's right there if she can like see his hair and she's like curling his hair with her finger. And the nurses are like, you can't do that. Like it's just like, why? It's my nephew. It's
Yeah.
my sister's vagina. Like who cares? And they're
Yeah.
like, no, like that's weird. So
Whatever. No, it's not.
which it kind of is, but like whatever. I
I don't
didn't
know. It's
care.
sisters. Like, I don't know. We do weird things.
Yeah, exactly. So she left, and then there was a knock on the door, and it was my sister-in-law, so my husband's sister, and she was like, "Oh, I brought you a burger to my husband," and it was a Carl's Jr. burger, and I'm pushing, you know, and he's like, "Oh, I'll be right back." I'm like, "You cannot leave. You can't leave and go." Like just eat a burger and he's like, I'll be right back, I'm hungry, I need to eat. And so he did. He left the room, and it felt like forever to me. And maybe it wasn't, but it felt like it to me. And when he came back in, I just felt so abandoned, and I felt like I literally lost all the hope that I had. So there was just
Wow.
this switch, and I don't know why, but I just immediately told him everything changed now. And he was like, what do you mean? I needed to eat. I was hungry. And I was like, dude, you just ate 2 meals at IHOP, like calm down. You were not hungry. And you left me like with all these people like purple pushing, and you just like abandoned me. And I felt so like wrecked over it immediately.
Mm,
Um, and in that like same time, the doctor was like, "Hey, mama, like we're on hour 2, and you only get 2 hours to push when you're a VBAC." And I was like, "What?" Like I did not know that, and I was not ready to start pushing. Like now, I feel like my body could start pushing, but it wasn't time to start pushing whenever they told me to start pushing. Um, but again, like I felt like I lost all like my power when my husband had left me. And I was like, okay, well, and he just said, well, I do this all the time, mama. Like you did good. And this baby is not going to come out of your vagina. He's been right on that spot for too long. He is not coming. And it's better that we go back now than when we do when there's an emergency. And he's doing great right now. So let's go now. You did great, mama. He just kept calling me mama. And he had these really kind Asian eyes. And he like touched my arm and was just so sweet about it that I was like, how can I say no to you? And I know it's like just so pathetic. It gets worse and worse.
mm.
Oh
Well,
my God.
I can
I,
see myself doing the same thing. Like, oh, but he said it so nice.
it's so
He's so sweet
nice.
about it. Yeah.
Yeah. So he does my C-section, and he puts me on the table, and my husband's getting gowned up or whatever, and I'm like shaking uncontrollably on the table, and I'm like farting, and the nurse next to me just looks at me like with utter disgust, and I'm like, I'm so sorry, like I have no control over it. And she just is like, ugh, and doing her sounds of ugh and ugh. And so there's that. And I'm like, oh, like now I'm disgusting this person. And they start the C-section. They're just talking about golf and whatever else is going on in their life. And my son is born. And with all my uncontrollable shaking, I know they gave me like more medication. And then he's born, and we go back into that like postpartum, not postpartum, like what those post-op
Mm.
area. And my sister comes back there, and she is holding him, and she's like, he is gorgeous. Oh my goodness, he's so beautiful. And I'm like, yeah, yeah, like whatever. And she just looks at me and she goes, have you held him? And I'm like, no. And then she says, do you want to? And I'm like, sure. I am just so drugged up. I have like no like desire or no instinct to hold my baby at all whatsoever. And I didn't even know what he looked like, and I didn't even care to ask for him. And so that was really, really sad. When I like came to, and even when I was holding him, like he didn't look like my baby. Like I was like, it's a baby, but like he didn't feel like he was mine. Um, yeah. So again, I did the same thing I did with my daughter when we got home, and just like locked ourselves away for about, this time it was a little less, like it was probably like 10 days or something. But I just was like, okay, I need to like do that same thing, because whatever it was, it worked. And it was super sweet time between the three of us, because my husband had to go back to work immediately. And he was home like a day with me, and I had a C-section. So, um, yeah, I did that same thing with her. And then again, 2 years later, I'm pregnant. And this time they're like, well, no, there's no chance of VBAC because you had two C-sections. And I'm like, yeah, I know. Like, that's what Google said. So, yeah, I get it. We're going to have a C-section. Wonderful. And now we're like going to schedule it. And um, they're like, we definitely don't want you going into labor. So we want to do it as early as possible because your uterus could explode and you could die and your baby will die. And I was like, yeah, like sooner the better, like still stupid, like as stupid as can be.
Well, you
And
you didn't know. You can't know, like you don't know what you don't know. But
yeah,
yeah,
I know.
that's hard.
So yeah, but this time I'm thinking, well, oh yeah. So going back to that, like the birth with my son, like I was just so hurt by my husband and him eating that burger. Like I have been with my husband since I was 14 years old. And I think I had my son when I was like 31 at that point, maybe 32. So we had already been together forever, and we needed marriage counseling after that.
Wow.
And yeah, and it's wild to me because I'm like, um, yeah, like that's how much it affected me of like that abandoned feeling and him like making me feel like I needed protection and that he wasn't there to protect me. And I have a whole bunch of like childhood trauma that would explain that, but and he literally is the person that like protected me and got me off the streets when I was 14. So when he did that to me, it just like oh, I mean, messed me up so bad. So we had already like worked through that, and I was like, well, at least we're not going to go through anything like that. We're just having a C-section. And so we kind of wanted like an element of surprise, so we didn't find out the sex. And we had been counseled about tying my tubes because three C-sections, like you can't like have a fourth C-section and you can't get pregnant again after that. So, but like I never felt okay with it. I never felt fully on board with that. He felt very done. He was like, I'm hitting 40 now, and like it's time to close this chapter. And like we already have our boy and our girl, and whichever one this third one is the bonus or whatever. So um we schedule that C-section, and she like opens me up and says, wow, like thank gosh, we are gonna tie your tubes because your uterus is so thin. It's like the as thin as saran wrap. I'm like, wow, really? That sounds horrible. How am I carrying a whole little human in there right now? I don't know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ugh.
So she like strongly suggested it, and my husband with his gorgeous, beautiful green eyes is looking at me and telling me like that, like, this is great. Like we're done. Like, we should definitely tie our tubes. And um then they pull out the baby and they're like, oh, um, I'm like, what is it? I've been waiting to know. And my husband just looks at me and he has this face of like, I disbelief. And I'm like, what is it? So then he runs back to take a second look to like really be sure that his mind isn't playing tricks on him. And he's like, it's a boy. And he's just like so excited because, my husband's this like grizzly man. And now he has two boys. And it's like his ultimate dream is, to be this father of boys. And they're going to like, play pro football or whatever. So he's all excited. And, it made me like, okay, like maybe we are done. Like this hit the vibe that I got from him. And so I was like, okay, let's do it. Let's tie my tubes. And at literally the second it was done, I regretted it. Like I just started crying and was like, what did I do? Like chill, like full body like I knew it was wrong. And
Mm.
yeah, and so I had breastfeeding issues with my son, even though like everything went great with the first two. Um, and he was very like lethargic all the time. And um, I think like he was born too early. It wasn't his time. He technically could have gone 5 more weeks
Yeah.
if he, because he was born at 37 weeks. And
Oh,
I had
wow.
already, I went over 42 with the first two. So,
Yeah.
and then the first two were, 9 pounds, 8 ounces. And then here he is, 6 pounds. And
Oh, wow. Big
yeah, and he,
difference.
yeah, and he ends up with like allergies and eczema and asthma and all kinds of the things that we have to, deal with, and always getting pneumonia. And
Mm.
I do attribute that probably to being born early, and yeah, and lots of Tylenol, because I continued not knowing all the things. But I will say, this is where I finally learned, and he taught me that I need to know my kids better than anybody. And he taught me that I need to advocate for them like nobody else. Like he really did bring the mama bear out of me,
Mm.
because at his 2 month checkup, he got his shots and he had an immediate reaction, and there was like full on resuscitation.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah. And so after that, he like just continued getting sick, sick and sick and sick and sick. And so I didn't know what I was doing, but I started like listening to his lungs all the time. And I like YouTubed how to listen to lungs. And I went to school and even got into the RN program. And and so like it was very important for me to know like how to take care of him and how to advocate for him. And I did that's when I went down, all the rabbit holes of everything. And I'm like, oh my gosh, like that's what happened to me in that birth and that birth. And then with those shots and all, yeah, all the things. Yeah. And so we decided to move and start raising our own food for him. Um, and so like we raised our own cows and chickens and pigs, um, and got a milk cow. So we did everything like we could do for him and to really detox him. And then I learned everything that I can possibly learn, and was in, like I said, the RN program. And I was on L&D, and I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah, like this, I'm going to be the change.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh, yeah, I'm going to like cause this like global freaking change in the system of birthing in the hospital. Yeah. And so they were teaching me how to check dilation and how to accidentally break a water. Yeah, so I was instantly convicted of like, wow, this is nothing was an accident.
Wow.
And um I can't change anything from the inside. Like it's not broken, and this is, the way that it's supposed to run, and this is a business. And
Yeah.
yeah, and it was during the same time that I attended my first home birth. And
Wow.
so, yeah, it was like perfect divine intervention. And I just told my husband, I'm like, I'm dropping out and I am going to do midwifery. I'm gonna learn midwifery. And so I started attending births under some amazing midwives that serve in this like low income area. And so they saw like a lot of diversity. And so I was attending births with, I guess, like a lot in California, like a lot of the home birthers are like, these optimal clients versus just regular women. Yeah. And and so I got to see like a lot. I got to see a lot. And um and then I probably had attended like 100 births, and I was like, okay, I'm ready to do this. And I untied my tubes. I actually, first thing I did was I consulted with an MFM, and I was searching the web, and it was actually like really crazy that I could not find like anyone that like supported a VBAC after 3 cesareans, let alone a VBAC after 3 cesareans and a tubal reversal. So I ended up coming across Dr. Chavira, and
Yeah.
I contacted him. And so he reviewed like my medical records, and he was like, yeah, like there was no reason for your C-sections. And he also was like, yeah, I think that you would still be a great candidate for a VBAC, but he did suggest having, a hospital birth. And I was like, no. I finally like I learned, and I am going to have a home birth. And after attending so many births, I was like, if they could do it, I could do it. And I really just like believed that I could do it. But I feel like I didn't do this like inner healing stuff that I was supposed to do. Because, well, let me tell you, it came out in birth.
As it
So,
does. As it does
yes,
every
it
time.
sure does. It hit me head on. And so during the birth, it just like started coming up of like, oh, your uterus is as thin as saran wrap, and
Yeah.
like you're gonna die and your baby's gonna die. And I just told my husband, I'm like, you see the scar, you know where to cut. If if my uterus explodes, you get that baby out of there. Like you do what you need to do. And he's like, oh my God, like what is happening here? But it was wild because I ended up like having these really strong contractions, but they're like 20 minutes apart. So that they started getting closer and closer together, and then I hit day 5, and I was like, this is stupid. Like I need a C-section. Like a C-section sounded fabulous at this point. And I was just like doubting myself of like, no, oh, I can't do this. And everything was just coming up. Everything was just like hitting me in that moment. My husband was falling asleep, and I'm like, oh yeah, he still sucks. Like he's the burger, like freaking stupid Carl's Jr. burger. And so then it was so weird that it was like 3:30 in the morning. My sister texted me, and she was like, how are you doing? Because she knew that I had been, having these contractions. And I'm like, I'm done. I'm having a C-section. I'm literally gonna wake up mom, because my mom lived in our back house. I'm gonna wake up mom. She's gonna take care of the kids. I'm gonna go get a C-section. She's like, don't be dumb. Like, just call your midwife, have her come check you. So I did, and she gets there, and I'm 8 centimeters, and I'm like, all right, I'm just gonna do this. But man, I was so like every contraction just was so dramatic, and I was just screaming, and I was like so in fear of the contraction, and I was just so
Mm.
in fear of like my uterus exploding when I have a strong contraction. And then everybody and their mom was there. So I have the midwives, I have like my mom, I have all my kids there, my dad's there, my husband, oh, my sister, and my nieces. Like it's a literal circus there. I know. It's like the stupidest thing that I could do. Yeah. And so, but I've already seen 100 births. If they could do it, I could do it. Like this, that's just how like crazy I am. And so, anyways, but that does happen. Somehow I just like one contraction after another, and then I start pushing, and I could tell that like I am doing too much pushing versus like my body
Like
doing
up
it.
here versus, yeah.
Mhm. Yeah. And so I and probably just wrecking my pelvic floor. And which I did. I absolutely did. So then I have my baby and I'm like, oh my God, I really did it. Like, oh my gosh. And just like holding her and I could share a clip with you. Oh my gosh, like
Yes.
you'll see the circus.
Yeah. So yeah, there we go. Tell me what it is, Sam. It's a boy.
It's a girl. It's a girl.
And then like baby comes out and I'm on the birth stool and everybody's just like around me, but I am so out of it. Like well, she's not even out. It's like just up to her hips and they're like, you could keep pushing your baby out. And I'm just like, so I'm like, okay. And then they're like, okay, here's your baby. And I'm just like so in outer space. And when I come back to it, I'm like, oh my God, like I did it. My body did it. And there was a switch in me of like, wow, all of that was pointless. Like all of it, like going through that like whole fear portal that I went through in this labor, all of the everything in the hospital that I've went through, like my body was still capable of doing it. Like, and now I'm 38 years old. This is my fourth kid. Like, wow, like that is like I should have just did that from the beginning. So, um, but of course, it still was just like, yeah, although it was very, very, very empowering. And like, thank God for, the support that I did have of everybody like, no, you're not going to the hospital. And no, you are fine. Like, I needed that still. That's where I was on my journey. And I guess I really needed to believe in my body. And yes, I understand that, like, all of like my childhood trauma and the things that happened to me when I was on the streets, those all of those things, I always kind of ran away from my body and I always like wanted to not like feel grounded in my body. I was always just like running, running, running. And so I'm sure that always played a part of it. And that's why like I'm like, heck yeah, give me that epidural. Heck yeah, give me that like whatever you're putting in me. Like, I'm not even gonna ask. Just give it to me. So then I found myself like 2 years later again pregnant, and no, not even, because my girls are exactly 2 years apart. So
Oh, wow.
whatever that maths to.
Yeah.
So um, I this time I'm pregnant, and this time my husband tells me, "Hey, like, can we have a more private birth this time?"
Oh, wow.
I know, and I was like, well, if we're gonna do that, then like you need to be my man, like you need to really just like be everything. And he was like, okay, I could do that. Yeah.
Wow.
And which is wild because that is how we live our everyday. Like it's me and him right now at this current moment in our life. Like he's a stay-at-home dad and he does a great job at it. And that's how we've always been. It's been me and him since, like I said, 1997. So he was very pushed aside in the births in the hospital. And then he was very pushed aside in the circus birth.
Yeah.
So even though like, he was there and he's holding me, like everybody was still there with their opinions and their voices and he did feel pushed aside in that birth. And I think that's why like he kind of spoke up about this one. And so yeah, I was like, okay, yeah. And like I had been doing birth now for quite a few years and was very, very close to who would be my midwife. She's one of my best friends. And we like very much like vibe in birth together, and I feel very lucky for that. So of course, like I would have her and my other friend there that assists her also. So anyways, I was like, okay, yeah, we could do that. So this is wild. So then my my oldest, my daughter, was 13 at the time, maybe about to be 13. I don't know. No, she was 13. Anyways, um, I started having contractions and I was at work and I'm like, no, like, what is this? Because I am like only 40 weeks. I go to 42 weeks. With that last one, I was 42 in a day in my circus birth also. So,
Wow.
yeah. So then here I am, like, no, like this is only 40 weeks. Like I got like 2 more weeks, you know. And I started having contractions and I'm really actually close to like 41. Like, why am I so like,
Mm-mm.
no way, you know? And so then I am at work and I'm like explaining things to my employee of like, I'm probably not going to be back. Like, I think I'm going to start my maternity leave, and this is what I need you guys to do. And then I like go home, and my husband sees me, and immediately he's like, "Oh, you're starting labor. I'm going to start a caldo for you." So he
Oh,
starts.
wow.
Yeah, so he starts the soup for me, and my daughter's at jujitsu, and I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna go pick her up so you can, you know, finish this meal. And he's like, yeah, like, so I took a nap, I go get her, and on the way there, it's only 10 minutes away, I had like 2 or 3 contractions. So I'm like, oh, these are kind of getting close, I guess. And then same thing like with the way back, and we needed to stop at the grocery store, and I was like, I don't even think I could get down, like, can you get down for me? So she gets down and she does the shopping that I need. And then we get home and I lay down and I'm like, okay, I need a rest, or I eat my soup and then I lay down and I'm like, I need to rest up because it's probably going to pick up tonight and it's going to be like a long 24 hours. And I'm laying down and all of a sudden I hear all this ruckus and like my daughter's freaking out and my husband is kind of yelling at her because he doesn't yell. He's like the literally like the calmest person and I'm like the opposite of him. So all of a sudden like they're in the room and he's like holding up her phone and she's jumping up and trying to grab it, and he was like, I need you to go through her phone right now because she's hiding something. And so I know, I'm like, oh my God. And yeah, like sure enough, she was texting with a boy and yeah, and definitely like texting things that are not okay in our
Mm.
for that age at 13, what we would be okay with. It wasn't anything crazy like how other the stuff I've heard, you know, but nonetheless,
Yeah.
we take parenting very seriously, you know, and so I was like, oh my gosh, like, wow, and like she lied to us and betrayed our trust, you know, and so that was really intense, and she's just like freaking out, and we're just shocked. And honestly, this is like the first thing we've ever gone through as parents, and probably like the most terrible thing we've ever gone through as parents. And so then he was just like, you know, your mom's in labor and now you're like making her go through this. And um I like we get everything settled. We have like a very long talk through my contractions, and he sends everybody to bed, and I just like start like getting really emotional and I'm crying and I'm like, I can't believe this is happening. Like we are like horrible parents that like she was texting a boy and we didn't even know. Like how we are not those parents. Like, oh my gosh, you know, that's what I'm thinking. And I guess we are. But uh I'm just like emotional and I'm like, we can't handle another baby. And he's like, what do you mean? I'm like, I don't even fucking want another baby. And he's like, well, I think it's too late for that. Like, we're having a baby probably tonight. Oh my gosh. So he gives me the most beautiful speech and is like, dude, we are awesome parents. And like, we have like literally the most awesome kids. And I've never met more awesome kids. Like, he gives me a great speech. He's a coach. So I feel like he gave me like this like sports coaching thing, you
Yeah.
know? And
Pep talk.
yeah, he totally gave me my pet talk. So I'm like, okay. And he's like, okay, let's rest. And he like rubs my feet. And then um I'm like, these contractions are like getting closer and stronger. I feel like I want to go in the bath. So he's really sweet and put on like the candles in there and put some magnesium in the bath. And I go in there like, this is gonna be great. And I'm like, oh, this is horrible. I need out of here. So um he just like looks at me, he's like, what do we do? And I'm like, I don't know, what do we do? And in that moment a contraction hit, and he just like held me, and my weight just melted on him,
Hmm.
and there was no pain, and I was like,
Wow.
wow, that was great. Like, can we do that again? And so we just did it over and over and over and over again. And he held me up. And then the sun came up and he was like, I really think that things are like picking up. Can I like get your birth pool ready? And so he already knew I have like 1 minute in between the contraction to do that. And so he gets that set up. And so the whole time, like my kids are all sleeping. One sleeps in the bed with us still and doesn't wake up, and sun's up. And then my 13-year-old daughter comes in, and she just sits there and is just very present. And he says, I need you to sit with your mom because I need to take a shit. And and I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to do this without him? You know, and I had just thrown up, and I knew, I was like, I'm in transition right now. Oh my God. And this baby's coming, and I'm starting, like, I got emotional, and I took a picture of myself, and it was like the most like weirdest selfie where I just look horrible and I'm crying, but it was like, this is the last time that like I am who I am, and I'm gonna
Hmm.
become someone different right now. And
Wow.
I had already felt like fully surrendered with him, and just in such a flow, and he was just such my man that he is on a daily basis, that I never let him rise up to in any of my births.
Wow.
And not only did I not let him rise up to it in any of the births, but like I blamed him when he didn't, when he couldn't. Like the burger thing, like that wasn't just his fault. He was pushed aside. So, anyways, we're in this moment where like everything is just like full circle, beautiful.
Wow.
And I see my daughter, and I'm like, I can't even be mad at her right now. Um, and she sees me, and she sees me in this moment fully, and he goes to go take his shit in the bathroom, in the other bathroom. And so I get in the water, and I'm like, oh my God, this is amazing. Like, why didn't I even get in here earlier? Even though I've had a completely pain-free labor now at this point, and
Wow.
now it even became even better. I didn't think that was possible, and it did. And I am just like, wow, this is amazing. And then all of a sudden, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I farted, and I tell my daughter, I'm like, did I just shit in here? And she's like, no. And I'm like, do not lie to me. And she's like, no, there's no poop. And then I'm like, oh my God, that's the baby. That means the baby's coming. And so my husband walks in that moment, and I'm like, I need you to get in here and catch the baby. And he was like, oh no, you're fine, you're soft and you're open. And that was like my mantra, soft and open the whole time. And I'm like, no, can you like feel for the baby? And he's like, oh, okay. And he like just like put his hand down there and he's like, oh my God, I feel her head. So I'm like, oh
He
my
comes in
God.
all zen, and then he's suddenly, ah!
Yeah, so it definitely like pulls me out of the moment.
Mm.
And I did have in AirPods, and I had never had AirPods before. And I had my playlist on, and like the vibration of that music that I had selected, like it really helped like relax my body. Like I really was like, wow, this was great. Um, and so when I knew the head was there, my playlist had ended. I know, it's like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Like perfect timing. And
Wow.
so a song that was not on my playlist came on, and it was the Lauren Daigle song, Rescue. And it is about, the Lord coming and being there for you
Wow.
and rescuing you, and like being, and I was like, I got it, God. Like you got me.
Wow.
Like, you
Wow.
got
Now I
me.
have goosebumps,
I
like
know I
the
did too
good
right
kind.
now.
Yeah.
Yeah. But
Wow.
I was like, he's got me right now. And my husband jumps in, and my daughter grabs my phone and starts recording. And yeah, so he's like, oh, like the head is out. And he's like, but I feel something. I don't know why he's touching me. I have no idea. But he's like, I feel a hand. And he like wiggles her little hand out. So she had a nuchal hand. And and so he like shimmied it up, and then
Yeah.
she came rocketing out at that point. And
Wow.
um, I turn around and I see him, and I immediately, I was like, this was for him too.
Oh.
And um, and it was obviously like for me also, like I got to learn true surrender, and
Mm.
I got to learn like to choose not to go a path, because I had that moment where when I got out of the bath, and I'm like, this is horrible, and I could have just stayed in that like negative state, but instead, like we chose, to work together, and we chose to stay like fully devoted to each other. And I chose to let him be my man. I chose to let him be my strength. And um it was that in itself like is such a beautiful gift. And then on top of it, I get my beautiful daughter too. Like that was just so amazing. In all my births, I learned something from every single one of them. And they were all so different. And I wish I didn't have to learn a lot of those lessons, but I really needed to become the mom that I am, and the mom that my kids need,
Mm.
and I also to be the wife that my husband needed also. Like he needed softer um a softer and more surrendered wife, because I definitely like was way more, hard-headed than I ever should have been. So yeah, that is wild. And I had a not only VBAC, two VBACs after three C-sections and a tubal reversal. Like I never get to like meet people that have that. And a lot of the times
Mm.
when I meet women that are VBACs, like it is a huge inspiration for them. But I do think that not only did I learn things as like a human and as a woman, but I learned things as a birth worker also. Like it has made me so much better as a birth worker, and so much more like steady and quiet and
Mm.
with women versus like doing all the things like just doing things to do them and to make me feel like I need to be doing something. I am just able to be um a very, what I would call myself, a calm, steady presence in labor. Yeah. And I don't think that I would have arrived there had I not had these lessons that I've had. Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. Well, I was tearing up when you were talking about like the birth being for your husband and like, so much. I'm sorry. Now I'm just like sitting in like the story because it's so powerful. And I think one of the things that makes it so, so powerful is the lessons that you have taken from them and how you've carried each lesson forward with you. And like, there's so much beauty in everything that you just shared.
One of my lessons that I learned also in my last one was that I actually thought, and I said it to God, I said, why would you let this happen while I'm in labor? Like, why would you do that to me? Like, seriously, this is sabotage. And um, I got to be home and fully present with my 13-year-old daughter, and she stayed in bed with me my whole postpartum, and we were
Mm,
able to talk through um
wow.
talk through everything, and she got a download that I don't think would have been possible without all the time that I was able to give her because I was in bed with her. And it was that she said that she learned that her parents will always be there and go to the ends of this earth for her, and that
Mm,
we will fight for her soul and for her spirit and her happiness. And that's what we were trying to do. And here we are, but my daughter's about to be 3, the baby, and we haven't had any other issues. And she's had such a tremendous, amazing growth from it. And I'm like, wow,
wow.
like, thank you, God, for doing it at that time, because I gave her the time that she needed, and I should not have questioned you. And I'm sorry for that.
Isn't that funny? I think spicy girls like us, especially like who also believe in God and like have a relationship with God. I was just reflecting on like how I've been spicy with God before.
Yeah.
And it's like some time passes and I'm like, oh, that
Oh,
was perfect timing.
yes.
That was really perfect because it is. So, but yeah,
Mhm.
and that's what when you were sharing that part of the story, I was like, what is the lesson in the timing of that? Because it's like
Yeah,
wild timing, but
right.
it's amazing that
It
like
was one that I still had to surrender and let that go. And also, two, that she needed her mom to be fully like present with her after. I'm like, wow, that's,
yeah,
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 multi-layered.
yeah, totally multi-layered. Yeah, yeah,
Well, I I am so, yeah, I'm so glad that we decided to do this because I think it was a lot of fun. I think sometimes when we tell stories, even if it's the same story, we tell them in a different period in our life. There's so much more, I think, that can be like brought forward or,
yeah,
yeah, there's just like, it just resonates with the time or something. But there's definitely a perfect timing even in that. And so I am very much blessed by you coming on and sharing your story. And I know that other people are I mean, this is probably going to be again like one of the most popular storytelling, like birth stories and everything that people can hear and learn from your lessons and things like
yeah,
that. But if I can be selfish, like I am super blessed and super inspired by everything you shared and kind of coming away from this almost in awe. Like I kind of want to go outside and just stare at the mountains for a minute and just like,
I love that.
just like be in
Yeah,
gratitude, like God's timing and God's lessons. And and
Yeah.
his design and all of that is amazing. And yeah,
Yeah,
and
even being able to have my two last ones, like my tubes, the doctor said they were um half a centimeter left. I
oh
like,
wow.
and he's like, he was like, if you could get pregnant, it's right now. I just opened them up. Like, go get it, girl. Like, and then like there's a high likelihood for tubules
Oh
during,
yeah, yeah.
yeah. And so just the fact that like they made it like to where they were supposed to be is just a miracle in itself. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
So many
Amazing.
miracles, like so many.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's yeah, amazing. Amazing. Well, thank you, Monica. I think if I stay on, I'm just gonna keep talking in circles about how amazing that was. I'm literally like I was tearing up at like multiple points, and I'm trying to like hold it together so I could just keep listening. But it
I
was
love it.
inspiring and
My niece's name is Kaya.
oh really?
Yeah. Yeah. And now I have, done the births for my sisters also.
Wow.
And all of our daughters have attended all of our births, even my circus one. And so they got to see like a wild and hard birth. And then they've seen like some beautiful surrendered ones. And
Wow.
I really feel like, me and my sisters have definitely changed like what will happen for our daughters. And
Yeah.
yeah, like if you ask any of our daughters, like, are you having like a home birth? They're like, well, is there anything else
Yeah.
that we do? Like,
What
yeah.
else would we do?
Yeah,
Yeah.
my daughter said, "Well, I'm definitely not going to a hospital." Like, duh. So,
Yeah.
yeah, I'm like, that's another miracle from, that we have
Yeah.
truly changed our family, and even like if because I am getting older, like I don't know how long I'm gonna be able to do births for, but like I'll always do them for my family, and so
Yeah.
I feel so blessed to have that for my kids now. Yeah.
Yeah, that's amazing. Yeah, that like legacy of blessings that you have created and
Yeah.
that's then it's just going to spread because they're going to the next generation is just going to like share their experiences and then God willing have their own experiences that are beautiful and amazing and like yeah, just continue it down and out.
Yep. Yep.
Amazing. I hope you felt inspired after hearing Monica's story. If you're new here and preparing for a sovereign birth, start with the Secret series. It's private and designed to orient you properly. Details in the show notes. Otherwise, feel free to share your input in the comments below and try to keep things civilized. Remember, we can only do our best with the tools we have. If you've gotten value out of this video, give us a like, subscribe, or consider donating through my website at earthboundparenting.org. And with that, bye-bye for now. Church and State Designs is a Montana family-owned company founded on the values of truth, action, and freedom. Their mission is to equip women and families with safe, discreet, and fashion-forward options for carrying self-defense and emergency prep tools. Church and State Designs is reinventing firearm concealment with their inconspicuous, fair trade leather accessories and uniquely crafted bag inserts that ensure the safe and accessible storage of a variety of tools, including knives, tasers, flashlights, tourniquets, etc., as well as compartments for your everyday purse essentials. Shop at churchandstatedesigns.com for fashionable self-reliance and enjoy 10% off your order when you use code CHAYA10. With their revolutionary products, Church and State Designs can help you conceal carry beautifully because you are worth protecting. Intended for educational and entertainment purposes only. Nothing in this video is medical or legal advice. By engaging with this content, you agree to take full responsibility for your own experiences and decisions as a result. Everything on this channel is property of Prudence Ministries, a private healing association, unless otherwise stated. Blessed is Adonai, divine sovereign, who brought us to this place and this time for this purpose.